Debbie Harry, a music icon known for her bold style and powerful influence on the global music scene. However, behind the spotlight and stage lights, her life has faced serious challenges, from battles with addiction to harsh gender stereotypes within the music industry. But are these stories entirely true? Or are they simply unverified rumours that have taken on a life of their own? Join us as we uncover the untold secrets of Debbie Harry. Before we dive deeper, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Grab yourself a warm drink, maybe a cup of tea, or just water, and sit back as we begin this journey together. Did you know that from the moment she was born, Debbie Harry's life was marked by deep wounds and dark family secrets? From the very start, she was rejected by the very people who brought her into the world. Those around her whispered that she was the reason her parents split up. What seemed to be a beautiful love story between her mother and father quickly fell apart when the truth came to light. Her father already had another family with 4 children of his own. Debbie's birth was never part of his plan, and that made him unwilling to stay with his lover. The relationship between Debbie's parents collapsed in tension and heartbreak. Her father returned to his original family, and her mother, a talented pianist, chose to disappear from her daughter's life entirely. At just 3 months old, Debbie was placed in an orphanage. Debbie's life only began to find some stability when she was adopted by a family with the last name Harry. Growing up in her new home, the little girl had no idea she wasn't their biological child until she turned 4. When the truth came out, she was deeply shocked and carried years of anger. She once swore she would never forgive her birth parents, but over time, her feelings began to shift. She became curious about her origins and started searching for her birth mother. Through that journey, Debbie discovered her real name, Angela Trimble. After graduating from high school, Angela, by then already used to the name Debbie, decided to leave the town where she was raised and head to New York City, driven by a desire to change her life. The early days in the bustling city were anything but easy. Her first job was as a secretary at the BBC radio offices, but after just 1 year, she was fired. Undeterred, she found work at Max's Kansas City as a waitress, and later took on a role as a Playboy bunny in New Jersey. Contrary to popular judgment, Debbie didn't see that experience as negative. On the contrary, she was grateful for that time, because it gave her confidence and a chance to rise. I always liked dressing up, and that job didn't make me feel uncomfortable at all, she once shared. However, the spotlight at Playboy wasn't where Debbie wanted to stay. After 8 months, she decided to leave and pursue her lifelong passion for music. Having sung in church choirs as a child, she was always drawn to music and yearned for the stage. Leaving behind that glamorous but superficial world, Debbie joined the folk rock band The Wind in the Willows as a backup vocalist. Although the group only recorded 1 album before disbanding, it became the first stepping stone in her inspiring musical journey, a journey born from pain, but filled with an unshakable drive to live and rise. I'm so in love with you. In 1973, a fateful turning point occurred in Debbie Harry's life when she joined the band The Stilettos. It was there that not only did her music career begin to flourish, but it also marked the start of a relationship that would change the course of her life entirely. Amid rehearsals and performances, Debbie met Chris Stein, a guitar player with a bohemian look and eyes that sparkled with creativity. Before long, the two fell in love. They became not only a romantic couple off stage, but also a perfectly matched musical duo. Feeling it was time to carve out a path of their own, they made the bold and ambitious decision to leave the Stilettos and form their own band. Debbie and Chris recruited drummer Clem Burke and bassist Gary Valentine to complete the lineup. The band initially had a rather lengthy name, The Angel and the Snake, but later changed it to Blondie, a name inspired by the cat calls from strange men who would whistle and call out to Debbie because of her striking platinum blonde hair. What few people know is that Debbie was in fact a natural redhead. Blondie gradually became a familiar name in New York's club scene, but their first major breakthrough with the international public came from an unexpected and distant place, Australia. A local video program there aired a music video from their debut album, and within months, the entire country was buzzing with Blondie's melodies. The album climbed to number 14 on the Australian charts and reached number 75 inches, the UK. While not a massive commercial success, it was an important stepping stone. Their second album showed more promise, but still wasn't enough to elevate Blondie to global stardom. It wasn't until the release of their third album, Parallel Lines, in 1978, that the world truly started paying attention. That album was pure magic. With the hit single Heart of Glass, Blondie reached number 1 on the US Billboard charts for the first time and sold over 2 million copies. The blend of disco, rock and new wave in Heart of Glass made the band stand out from the crowd of artists at the time. Success followed success, and their fifth album, Auto-American, was released in 1980, featuring hits like The Tide is High and Rapture. Notably, Rapture made history as the first rap song to ever top the US charts. A rare feat at the time, especially for a band fronted by a white female singer. However, at the peak of their fame, Blondie suddenly announced their breakup, shocking fans around the world. Many speculated that the pressures of fame and internal conflicts were the main causes, but the truth was far more complex. Chris Stein, the band's co-founder and Debbie's partner, began showing signs of serious health decline. He lost weight rapidly, couldn't eat, and frequently collapsed during performances. Initially, doctors suspected drug abuse, a common issue among musicians in that era, but as his condition worsened, they had to cancel their tour for The Hunter in 1982. It was a dark time. Chris was bedridden, his body so weak it seemed he might not survive. But Debbie didn't leave him. She put her career, her fame, and even Blondie on hold, everything to be by his side during his most critical moments. After extensive testing, Chris was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease, not drug-related complications as initially thought. With a new treatment plan, Chris slowly began to recover, a true miracle. However, even though Chris escaped the clutches of death, Blondie was no more. And even more heartbreaking, Debbie and Chris's relationship couldn't return to what it once was. In the years that followed, they reunited the band in the 1990, but the magic of the 1970 and early 8S had faded. Their place on the musical map had now been taken by newer names with different styles and modern tastes. Throughout her life, Debbie Harry never walked down the aisle or had biological children, but she has never been alone. At the age of 74, the legendary singer lives in a quiet mansion in New Jersey with her 4 loyal dogs. That seemingly peaceful life is the result of a long journey filled with ups and downs, marked by rebellion, but also deeply shaped by moments of pain and renewal. The greatest love of Debbie's life was never sealed by legal documents or a wedding ring. His name is Chris Stein, the man who stood by her side from the earliest days of Blondie. They were a duo of extraordinary artists, perfectly in sync both on stage and in private life. But behind the spotlight, their relationship was shadowed by darkness. Both struggled with addiction during their time together. When Chris fell seriously ill, Debbie put everything aside to care for him, a testament to her loyalty and unconditional love. However, once Chris recovered, he chose to step away. According to Debbie, Chris wanted to free her from a relationship that might drag her back into addiction. Their ending wasn't born of hatred. It was an act of sacrifice. They officially parted ways in 1987 after 16 years together, but have remained close friends ever since. As time passed, Debbie never closed off her heart. Even in her 70 seconds, she still holds out hope for a relationship with real chemistry, something she believes is rare in today's world. In a recent interview, Debbie candidly revealed that she is involved with several married men. According to her, single men are fewer these days. Many are already married, and extramarital relationships are no longer all that unusual. She isn't searching for a fairy tale ending, but rather choosing to live honestly with her feelings and instincts. Debbie has never let traditional expectations imprison her true self. In her memoir published in 2019, she revealed she had relationships with women and publicly came out as queer in 2014. However, with her candid and ever-evolving personality, she also stated that her bisexual phase had ended. Debbie isn't just a woman who loves freely. She has long been drawn to an ideal image, a strong man, someone brave with a fighting spirit. She once said she always wanted to become the ideal man in her own eyes. And it's that masculine-leaning ambition that fueled her strength in an industry as ruthless and male-dominated as the music world. Debbie's life has never been short of harrowing twists. Few people know that she once found herself in a terrifying situation that could have cost her life. After a show one night, she accepted a ride from a stranger, a man she later believed to be the infamous serial killer Ted Bundy. As soon as she got into the car, she noticed there were no door handles on the inside. Her survival instincts kicked in, and she managed to roll down the window and escape. That horrifying experience haunted her for 15 years, with the memory of that night replaying like a silent nightmare. But the tragedies didn't end there. At the height of Blondie's fame, a devastating financial decision left Debbie completely broke. The IRS took everything: her home, her car, her belongings, even her favourite coat. She bitterly recalled working non-stop for 7 years without a single vacation, only to end up with nothing. It was a huge blow, but not enough to take down a fighter like Debbie. From the ashes, she rose stronger. When Blondie disbanded, Debbie didn't give up on music. She transitioned into film and launched a solo career, releasing a string of memorable hits like Comic Book, Right Side, I Can See Clearly, and 2 times Hit Today. These songs didn't just mark the return of an icon, they stood as proof of her unbreakable will and enduring talent. Today, Debbie Harry's estimated net worth is around $30 million, but her true worth lies far beyond that number. It lies in her ability to rise above adversity, to live authentically, and to inspire an entire generation of women to dream boldly, live freely, and love on their own terms. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. If you found today's content meaningful, or if it brought you a bit of joy, don't hesitate to give it a like and hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any of our latest videos.